Hey everybody, today we're going to go over Warhammer 40k 8th edition weapon profiles that we got a little bit of an expanded look at today from the Warhammer community articles. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and let me know your comments down below, because this is something we're all going to have a different take on, and I really want to hear how it's going to affect you and your choices if you're already starting to snap off arms and stuff on people and replace them. We'd seen the axe, the maul, and the sword before, I think, in previous stats, where the sword, very compelling. That now it's a base strength of the user, which it was before, but now it's a -3 to armor save. That gives it more bite than it had before, certainly, I think. And it showed, they make comment about how they know that the axe was such a popular weapon for folks before the power axe. And that, it's not just a throwaway comment. It really kind of leads to the fact that they've done their homework and they really know what people were taking. So, we're going to expect some change. But then they assure us that, lots of their models already have swords already. So you probably have a bunch of power swords laying around your bits box, even if you don't have figures that have them right now. The big thing, though, is the chainsword. The chainsword now, they're saying, gives you an extra attack. Each time the bearer fights, it can make one additional attack with this weapon. So the chainsword, take the base stats, now you get an extra attack for having this chainsword. I bet we're going to see that across other armies that may not have the chainsword equivalent, but this is kind of telling us that since you're going to lose your extra base weapon or attack for having another close combat weapon like a gun or something, a pistol, you're going to get that from this melee devoted weapon. And then you'll probably get the same shooting attack in the shooting thing with your pistol. But now there won't be this kind of weirdness of, I guess, dual purpose for that. You're going to have the rules for shooting and what the shooting weapons do, and you'll have the rules for melee and what melee weapons do. This gives infantry with these type of extra weapons a little bit the punch that we come to expect from them in the melee phase. So assault squads, they're not going to lose in their effectiveness even if the rules change out from under them, and I have to imagine that's going to apply to other squads that shared a similar role across the factions. The Power Fist. We got the snapshot of the Power Fist here, and this is kind of cool. It doesn't have the AP that I thought it might have. It's strength ×2 of the user, -3 armor save, and then D3 wounds. And D3 wounds is really nice. This is the -3 to AP. I wasn't sure how I felt about that, but the more I thought about it and discussing it with some of my buds on the show, on the podcast, is that AP and that level of damage that it has gives them somewhere to go. So like crushing claws and thunder hammers and things like that may still have a place because they're not overshadowed by something like the Power Fist. In order to represent their unwieldiness that we before had them striking last, that's gone. Now when you're using the Power Fist, you're -1 to hit on the to hit roll. So you're sacrificing 17% of your ability to hit, but who hasn't rolled all hits sometimes, but when you do hit, it's going to connect and wound more frequently and then do more damage. But the cool thing about the knights that we've got, that we're going to talk about in a minute here, is that they have so many wounds that the things with, like, dudes with Power Fist probably aren't going to be your specialist for killing those types of things. Dudes with Power Fist are going to kill multi-wound dudes. The same thing that we maybe expect them to do. It still may take them forever to beat down a knight, or not maybe a little bit of time to beat down a dreadnought. It's going to take a long time to beat down our land raider. But dudes, centurions, Tyranid Ripper swarms, probably Wraith Lords, you're going to they're going to shine in that capacity, which I think is kind of a really neat concept of. You really will have specialist tools that are good for certain things that aren't just the end-all be-all. Like in previous editions, it was all about the las cannon and the Power Fist, and then it became about the melt gun and the Power Fist, and then it became the power axe and the melt gun or whatever. But now we're starting to see clearly defined roles and uses, which will make you make some better decisions, or I should say, you'll have to make more calculated decisions when you are designing your army list and building your models, which is neat. And then it goes on and tells us that all Great Knights with force weapons are going to be just, murderers when it comes to close combat. They're going to be able to just dish out tons of wounds with their force weapons that they all have. Then we got to hear about the knights. And I won't necessarily tell you what I think about the Knights in general, but this goes, other than they've got a bunch of wounds and seem to be juggernauts for a long period of time, they do give us a snapshot here of the super heavy detachment. And this is 3 to 5 Lords of War that gives you 3 command points, with the only restrictions that they had to be from the same faction. You guys have probably already figured it out. 5 Wraith Knights, 5 Storm Surges, 5 Super Tunas, 5, Trigon, whatever, the big giant things the Tyranids get. This is a generic detachment. This is a detachment that every faction can take, and so you might conceivably face in a battle-forged army an attachment of nothing but Lords of War. What does that mean? It's too soon to tell, but it's still interesting to think about. And then it goes on to say that the Knights, and I have to imagine that this will be able to translate into other large units, can just walk out of combat. They don't get bogged down in a units of zombies or stuff like that anymore. So, again, this is sprinkled in stuff within stuff that we're saying that we could piece together everything that it is. It's really, really fun to think about. What do you guys think is the most vicious Lord of War detachment that you can think of right now? And then what would you do with your command points that we've seen so far? Anyway, I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Please comment and stuff below. Like the channel. Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.